So on the inventory side, basically whatever transaction they will handle it under inventory module itself. So once user will be logging, he can able to see on a dashboard uh, both locations and individual transactions. Like receipt will be handled under this particular part. Internal transfers, if we are moving goods from one warehouse to another warehouse, that will be done under internal transfer itself. And for if we are actually moving something from Cranebook to Fort Siska, then we need to create an internal transfer from Cranebook itself. And then if we are doing it from Siska warehouse, Fort Siska warehouse to the Cranebook, then we have to create it onto this level. Then delivery order, whatever products you are going to deliver, those will be visible here, and we can easily find out like how many are in a back order, late, or waiting state. In the operation section under transfer, basically all the inventory movement will be placed it out. This will be very easy access to filter it out, otherwise everything will be visible, like whether it is internal transaction or it is delivery transaction, those will be visible here. So if you would like to have a search for any particular record, you can do it from this screen itself. So 6, if I'm looking for any shipment, so it will actually check whether it is a reference as a 216 or it is belongs to a source document. So I can easily find out that my purchase orders document onto the screen. So filters are already placed out, and those will be it. It is exactly same like we can actually filter the record with transaction. By default it is showing transfer, contact person, source document, product wise or operation type wise. But we can add we can also add more things, like add a custom filter. Then we can have options here, like what type of records you would like to see, so that we can back order is it. So we can find out the record which has been on a back order, so that way we can easily filter it out those records. There is a quick filter already added, hold that depot for the pickup. So if you click on that one, the transaction which are having that flag will be visible over here. So that is basically a delivery order. So if it is having a hold, we can easily find out those things here. If any of the transaction is having hold, then there is a group by functionality which can allow us to group by with the records. Then there are operation types, or we can also do it vice versa, like as per operation type and then by status wise. So under current book, we can also have like ready 23 records, 53 records are already done. So that way we can easily filter it out certain values over here. But on the overview section, you can actually easily find out what need to be worked on and what we have processed. Second part will be a inventory adjustment part. That is something is uh, whenever we would like to, at the end of the month, whenever we are doing physical count and everything, if at that point of time you would like to adjust your physical, like once we physically count that particular inventory values, we need to update the system. That way our warehouse status and our system status should be hand to hand, so that we can do it by inventory adjustment. Basically under inventory adjustment, every end of the month, if you guys are actually doing physical count, or it can be quarterly session, so it's depend on organization to organization how they are do those things. So we can actually generate a record, provide a location, like on a which location you would like to have it, uh, and then start the inventory. Once we start the inventory part of it, it will add all the transactions which are having some count. and if there is any kind of negative, we can update those things. For physical count, basically, mm, cancel inventory. So we can have whole list for the product, that we can export it out and give it to the department. We can check those things by group by, like we can sort it out record as per category wise, like certain category for some uh, certain people of the department, and location wise we can give it to them. So that is possible. So whenever there will be a physical count, what we just have to do is that we have to export this list by clicking on the top section. Basically, this action will select all the records. So right now it is taking a little bit time. Action, then export. Right now we have already added a template over here, so you can export that template. It will be pre-added. If user wants to create for themselves, they can do it. uh, if we want to see other information like differences, counter quantity or anything, they can just click on add button. Like, let me just add over. If we click on a add button, it will be get added onto right hand side list. So that way that data will be get exported from the system. So there will be number of values associated with the product, so that we can export it out. Right now I'm just removing it. I'll select the pre-existing folder template. Now how you will create the template, so you can actually add a data the way you want it to have into your reports. Once we have it, we just click on new template and type the name and save that value. So that way it will be visible. So this is my inventory template, and this is the one which I have already created, which we have right now created. If I don't want to use more this particular filter, I can just simply click on a delete, and that way it will be easily updated, those filters. So it will delete the record, but the previous record still remain there. So once you select it and click on export, this will export all the data and generate a Excel file so that you can share with your users for a actual physical count, and they can come up updating that sheet. Once they provide you that updated values, we can easily import that values into the system. So they just have to actually update. This is not the correct file. Let it be just open up. So it will be like this: counted quantity, which location, and for which product. We just have to update the counted quantity to the actual one, and once we have that, it can be imported into the system, and that way it will update the system. So for example, this is having 200 instead of 200. I'm just making it enable everything. I'm just updating one value right now for testing purpose. So I just updated one value of the product. So this will be a part of inventory department that they can just go and update the quantity, load a file, select the file. So it will automatically take the values and now import. So once we import it, it will update the each and every lines with the corrected changes, and it will take the counted quantity. Okay. Basically, doing that only it will update it in a proper way. Right now, it is having some inventory related more transactions, so it is throwing me error. So once we validate, this will be update the status. So right now there is no any inventory change. I have updated, so it will upload it in that way. But basically, into this section, once we import it, it will give us if there is any discrepancy, it will give us that error. So in that screen, it was having some error, so it was not showing. There is some duplicates on the product, so we just need to clear that one with this data. Then moving forward, it won't be there into the system. Apart from inventory adjustment, we can also do a scrap. Scrap is something that whenever there is any kind of loss happening on respective product, and we already know, so that we can easily adjust it by entering a scrap. And once we validate it, it will be deduct the inventory from that location. We can choose the respective location from where we would like to deduct the inventory, and then it will update the status of those products. So for example, let me just check the actual quantity of the product. So it is having 20,003 quantity on the product. It will deduct the inventory. So you can see earlier it was having 20,000, but now 100 quantity I have just deducted as a scrap, so that we can able to find out. Under traceability also we can find out whole traceability what happened with the quantity, where it was. So we can find out that inventory adjustment has been happened, and from stock it is going there for that 100 quantity. Sorry, this one. So it has been creating a scrap, and from stock it is moving to a scrap location. So this is how we can actually adjust the scrap. Now the scrap is if we are going to do a direct entry from the system. Apart from that, scrap is also getting captured on a manufacturing process, but that will be handled by manufacturing department, and they can enter whenever they are producing certain things. Or so at that point of time, if anything they need to scrap, they can directly do it from manufacturing order. Those record will also be visible under the screen. Then there will be a landed cost. So whenever products are receiving, if there is any kind of additional cost occurred while we receive the product, that we can capture here. Even the inventory valuation, like once we uh, receive the goods, but when we receive the invoices, there is a difference in the prices. So that also getting captured under landed process, but that will be triggered by accounting department, and here the records will be only generated. Under master data, basically we are having information about the products. and we can find out all the products. Normally, uh, we can actually filter the products based on the availability and can be sold, can be purchased. This is a Kanban view of the product, and this will be a tree view of the product where we can find out what is the sales price, cost price, how much quantity is there in hand, what is the unit of measure of that product. The person who is having inventory access can actually able to see a create button, otherwise rest of the people won't able to see the create product functionality, and product functionality will be limited to the certain group of people, so this create button won't be visible onto their screens. And under reporting sections, we have different reporting for warehouse analysis purpose. So this by category wise and creation date wise, we can have those reports over here. Inventory reports are also there. Which will be give us current status of the inventory. If you would like to see a previous date inventory valuation, so then we can see it by date wise as well. So for example, I would like to see on October 1st what was my inventory. So once we confirm this, it will show us the inventory value at that point of time, that we was not having any inventory and only certain products are having inventory. Like earlier it was having only 100, so that way we can just find out, we can export that data. Stock move and product moves are nothing but whatever inventory movements we are doing, as each product wise this particular information will be there. So this will actually show us the movement part of it, whether from which location to which location that product has been moved, like from vendor location to the stock location. So those are all incoming shipments. So stock moves are nothing but line items of our shipment records. So these are the pretty much things we can do it on the inventory sections. There will be some configuration part. So normally in a system, if we are having multiple location, we can set it up by using warehouses. Each warehouse should be associated to its respective address. So that way, that address will be visible on a reporting section. So whenever there is a report related to the shipments and receiving address, so that address will be coming from the this section. So we just have to make sure that whenever we configure the warehouse, choose the warehouse, it will choose the appropriate addresses. Then there will be a locations. Here we are actually able to see internal locations, but there are multiple types of locations. Whatever customer goods going out from the system, those are going for a customer location. If we are receiving from vendor, that will coming from vendor location. There will be some transit locations are there, and whatever happening under manufacturing will coming to production location. All the inventory adjustment transaction we do will done under inventory adjustment location, and we separately track the scrap part and inventory adjustment. So that's the reason there is one more location for scrap purpose. So these are the physical location types, and based on it the transactions are happening. So whenever we are posting any kind of incoming shipments and delivery order, it will automatically generate the entries based on the location movements. Mm. So this is how pretty much under inventory we can do all those things. Do you have any questions about the flow? Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It was vendor location. Yeah, there can be multiple vendor location, but I just want to know the purpose to have multiple locations in this case. Like, are you sending it to your vendor? That way they can deliver it to the customer. Is it something like that, or like, why you would like to have multiple vendor locations? Mm-hmm. But that means they are actually coming from your vendor location to your stock location only, right? Or how the transaction you are envisioning? Mhm. Okay, so these guys are holding your products. This is what something you are trying to tell me. Okay then. So that means that your products will be situated onto that those locations. This is what you want to have it, right? Okay. So yeah, we can set it up that way. So is there any other question apart from this one in our inventory flow? Okay then. Let me just stop the sharing.